Hi there, welcome to my tutorial on simultaneous equations using the elimination method. This is quite a major topic, so I'm going to do it in two parts, so please watch part 2 afterwards. Okay, example 1. We've got two equations here. This is what's known as a simultaneous equation. We've got two unknowns to find, x and y, and we're going to solve them simultaneously. Now, the way we're going to do this is I'm going to look at doing this in 4 distinct steps. So you need to write down the steps and remember them. Step 1, 2, 3 and 4. So please write these down as we go through this. First of all then, step 1. What we're going to do is we're going to make either the x's or the y's the same. So just write down, make x's or y's the same. Now this one's a very easy one because if you have a look, we've got x and 3x, but here we've got 2y and we've got 2y. So in actual fact, part 1 is already done. So in equations 1 and 2, we've got the y's already the same. So that's done. Part 2. We need to look at the signs in front of the term that we've made the same. If we assume we've made the y's the same, look at the sign in front of this term. This is a positive, this is a negative. And then I'm going to write down here, look at the signs, and then if they are the same, we subtract. So can you write that down? We subtract. If they're not the same, if they're different, like they are here, so we put if different, then we're going to do the opposite. We add these together. We add them together. So that's step 2. Look at what we've got. The signs here, the y's are the same. The signs are different, so we add equation 1 to equation 2. But we must add each term individually. So here we do x add 3x, which gives us 4x. We do 2y add minus 2y. Now if I write that down, if you've got a 2 and you're adding a negative 2, remember that becomes a negative. So 2 take away 2 is 0. What we've done is we've eliminated the y's, so they're no longer there. We don't write the 0, we just need to leave that blank because they've gone. And then 5, add negative 1, same type of thing. You've got 5 add negative 1, that becomes a subtract, so that gives us 4. Step 3, we now solve the equation. Because basically here we've got an equation, 4x equals 4. It's a simple equation, but we can solve it. So if 4x equals 4, divide both sides by 4, you're going to get x equal to 1. So I've found x. Now the last step is to substitute, I'm just going to write sub, the value for x Now you've got to remember this could be y, value for y, because if I'd have found out y first, I substitute the value for y back in there, so it could be either. In this case it's x. Back into equation 1. Could put it in equation 2, but let's just put it into equation 1. If you do it into equation 1 each time, you'll get used to doing it like that. So here, this is equation 1. We now know what x is. We know x is 1, so I'm going to replace the x with 1. So I get 1, write down the rest of the equation, plus 2y equals 5. Now I just solve that equation, so sub value for x back into equation 1, and solve. So solve this one, take the 1 away from both sides. I'm left with 2y equals 4. Divide both sides by 2, so I'm left with y equals 2. So we've solved that simultaneous equation. X equals 1, y equals 2. Example 2 now. This one is a little bit more difficult. If we have a look, we now can see that the x's are not the same and the y's are not the same. So this time we actually have to do something for part 1. Look at the equations. Label this 1 and 2. Look at the equations 1 and 2 and see what is easiest to make the same. Is it easier to make the y's the same or the x's the same? If we have a look at the x's, you can see that to make them the same, we're going to have to times this one by 4 and this one by 3 to get 12x in both. That's the only way we can make them the same, because we don't have to times this by a decimal to get the 3 to a 4. That's not the easiest way to do it. If we look at the y's, all I need to do with the y's is times equation 1 with 2, by 2, sorry, because 2 times 3 gives me 6y, then we've got them the same. So for this one, I'm going to start off, I'm just going to times equation 1 by 2. I'm going to change that. So this now becomes, if we times each part by 2, I get 8x plus 6y equals 46. I've changed the first equation. I can now cross that out because I'm working on these two equations now. Now if you see, I've got the y's the same. It's back to the stage we were with example 1. So we've done the first part. Now look at the signs of the ones we've made the same. So the y's are the same. Look at the signs. Well, this is a positive and this is a positive. If they are the same, we subtract one equation from the other. So this time we must subtract one equation from the other. Does it matter which way round we do it? Whether we take this one away from this one or this one away from this one? Well, it doesn't really, but it does make it easier if you put the larger equation on the top and subtract the smaller equation. So here, if I did it this way, 3 take away 8, I'd end up with negative numbers. So let's swap these round. So write 3x plus 6y equals 21 underneath. And this time, I'm going to take this one away from this one to leave me with positive answers. So 8x take 3x gives me 5x. 6 take away 6, or 6y take away 6y is nothing, they disappear. And then 46 take away 21 leaves me with 25, sorry. So now I've got 5x equals 25. I've done step 2. Step 3, solve the equation. So simple equation again, if 5x equals 25, you divide both sides by 5, you're going to end up with x equal to 5. Step 3 done. And then finally, you substitute your value for x that we've just found out, x is now 5, back into equation 1. Now, I know I've crossed this out. You could substitute that and put it back into any of these equations. It doesn't matter, but it's a good idea to put it back into the smallest one. So equation 1 was the smallest one. So we put it back into that. So here, x is now 5. So 4 times x, we've got 4 times 5. I'm just going to put that in brackets. Plus 3y equals 23. And solve the equation. So 4 5s are 20. 20 plus 3y equals 23. Now I take the 20 away from both sides to leave me with 3y equals 3. And if I now divide both sides by 3, I'm going to be left, just go over here, with y equals 1. X equals 5, y equals 1.